we are seeing you with a dog. So what is the sequence all about, which you were just shooting?
It's not a dog, it's a bitch. Okay. First of all, get your agendas right.
आप जो बोल रहे हो आपके कानों में जा रहा है? ऐसा तो नहीं सर, हम सुन रहे हैं.
The conclusion is as clear as day that vintage Bollywood interviews were in a wild league of its own. This video is going to trigger a lot of people because I thought of dissecting the problematic traits of some of the most popular films in recent years as well as in different eras. This MATLAB KUCH episode is going to take a look at our evolution as viewers, from films that propagate the same regressive notions under the guise of commercial cinema and sequences and storylines that we enjoyed as children but when we revisit again make us cringe and uncomfortable. Before I get to this month's episode, do tell me in the comments below of a film that you really enjoyed while you were growing up, but you have a completely different perspective watching it again as an adult. It accounts for a really interesting discussion in the comments below. Getting ready for a whole lot of cringe and awkward moments, here is Tried&Refused Productions with 5 shocking Indian movie dialogues and scenes you won't believe were approved. Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein. One of the country's biggest crushes was R. Madhavan in the early 2000s as he made his Hindi film debut with Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein, directed by Gautam Menon, a film that was a remake of the director's own Tamil film Minnale, which had Madhavan playing the same role. The bad boy charm and natural ability in front of camera made R. Madhavan an instant star with audiences. There was this rebellious quality that gravitated people towards him, and I still remember watching multiple reruns of the film on television. I would listen to the iconic background score that would showcase Dia Mirza dancing in the rain and Maddie being smitten instantly. The infectious chemistry that both the actors shared, the banter amongst the friend group, it all seemed familiar and organic. Upon revisiting the film, I realized that so many themes of it went under my radar, aspects that were passed off as normal stuck out as jarring and uncomfortable to me. Maddie is initially introduced as a ruffian in college. He immediately is introduced in the film as a Hanuman Bhakt with the ladies, presenting this as how he treats the opposite sex.
No question papers for you. लड़कियों को पढ़ के पास होने का चल. लड़कियों के मामले में मैं था पूरा हनुमान भक्त.
एडजस्ट करो ना.
The film categorically showcases the character to have evolved after college, so you would like to believe that he has changed his demeanor, but he goes back to his toxic ways at the first instance that he is head over heels for a girl. Someone, mind you, he hasn't spoken to. He takes photographs of her without her consent, creepily keeps a glass she drank from, and keeps his job opportunity in San Francisco on hold to explore the prospect of this developing into something by following her everywhere. You remember when Joe from You would always assume that girls are flirting with him? When there was nothing established and you in your mind come to your own conclusions of the hypotheticals that may never happen? Yeah, something like that. Furthermore, taking advantage of the false identity, he acts on the worst advice a parent can give their child on how to court the opposite sex.
नहीं, ये प्यार है. और प्यार में इंसान इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, नाम नहीं.
He of course works his magic with the girl under a false identity for 5 days only to be exposed and then create a fit every time someone gives him a reality check that whatever he did was creepy and out of order. Something summarized very well by the real Rajiv.
पहले मेरा नाम लेकर तुम्हारे पास आता है, फिर मेरे ही घर में मुझे धमकी देता है. This guy's bloody cheap, man.
The man has the gall even to confront her to give him a second chance and say this.
5 days. तुम मेरे साथ थी. अगर मैं चाहता ना तो उन 5 दिनों में मैं तुम्हारे साथ कुछ भी कर और तुम भी मुझे नहीं रोकती.
The fact that he had a happy ending still boggles my mind. It would be interesting to know your thoughts in the comments below as well. Romantic. If a Puri Jagannath directed film cannot make it to the MATLAB KUCH series, at least a film written and produced by him to launch his own son can make an entry. There is nothing really as cringe as Puri Jagannath dialogues in the last 4 or 5 years. Many people believe that his prime days as a creator are far behind him, as one can only reference Temper as his last impressive venture. The man has created a niche for himself with the same storyline being recycled in different worlds, where a rowdy goes up the ranks in an illegal syndicate only to fall in love and persevere through all the hardships that come his way. The number of problematic and unintentionally funny sequences in this movie are endless. The movie presents a character called Vasco da Gama, yeah, that's his name, who joins a gang in Goa with his female friend. The leader exclaims, "Finally, we have a girl in our gang." The girl says, "I won't let you do anything with me." To which the leader replies, "Girls who claim they don't let you do anything to them only tempt you to do something to them." The hero falls head over heels for a singer and constantly stares at her and chases her as she keeps on asking him, "What do you want?" There's a song also titled, "What Do You Want?" Because obviously, the hero can't take a hint for shit. He is so sexually attracted to her that he can't physically help himself but follow her everywhere, as the lyrics of a song romantically say, "Your gaze is touching my back and piercing me." When she boards a bus to leave for higher studies, he chases the vehicle, lands up on the bus only to tell her that we should get sex out of the way, and she can leave tomorrow after spending the night with him. There are multiple sequences where you just see the hero groping her, pulling her his way, and she's resisting the same, only to reveal eventually she wanted it all along. The social themes that Jagannath showcases through his films are appalling, according to me, but nothing beats dirty talk like, "If you are mad, I am your dad." Yes, there's a full song with that chorus as well. The film is absolutely atrocious. Ishq. A movie that I rewatched each and every time it was on TV was Ishq, directed by Indra Kumar. I found as a kid for this film to be absolutely entertaining and a laugh riot. I would wait for scenes like a bird crapping on one of the parents, the iconic pipe Ram Ram sequence, or my favorite, the trash talk conversation between Amir and Juhi.
तुम्हें इसकी ज्यादा जरूरत है क्योंकि तुम्हारे मुंह से बदबू आती है। What? Yes, your mouth stinks. Yeah.
But when I recently watched this film, I was alarmed at the lengths creators would go to get their point across, especially when you see the evolution of Amir and Juhi's relationship. Ajay Devgan and Kajol are normies in this film, but Amir and Juhi are toxic and violent from the word go, and this is all presented under the guise of comedy. He in his first interaction only playfully pretends to stab her, only to laugh at her face with a dummy knife, because it's a green signal to have a long-term boyfriend that he playfully stabs you when he first meets you. They reunite only for her to poke him in the bum with a sharp object and to place them in a car with a monkey that is a James Bond fan, and its brakes not working because that's how you take revenge. To put them in a situation which has a probability that will kill them. He's infuriated with the same, so he thinks about taking revenge. And now, for some godforsaken reason, he can rotate his head 180 degrees like an owl and pretends to stab her again. She is infuriated by such a prank and slaps him. These are all great signals for a healthy relationship. He plans to leave, only for her to say sorry. He pounces on her forcefully, and because this is now an ego battle, she does the same, and romance blossoms as consent is out of the picture. Everyone self-harms in this movie. Slight inconvenience, father starts bashing his head. Kajol feels cornered, she attempts to burn herself. It's only extremes in this film. When the duo of the poor chaps, which is Amir and Kajol, get tortured and banished because of a lie orchestrated by the fathers, Amir, as a sign of revenge, physically assaults and harasses Juhi so that he can do what was done to them. This film, just to prove a point, goes lengths and bounds to break the law, transforming my perception of an enjoyable film in my childhood to a one toxic mess. Except the Ram Ram sequence. That's still iconic. Aru. Before I get to the main movie, which is Pushpa, I wanted to reference a sequence from a movie titled Aru starring Surya, a huge success in which a gangster finds women in a restaurant eating dinner. The context is that the girl finds the guy struggling in the washroom to use the sink, she laughs and gets back to her friends. Irritated that they could create a mockery out of him, he lectures them on morality and the repercussions to be out of their home after sunset.
ये सब क्या है? जीन्स पैंट और टी शर्ट के बीच में गैप रख के पूरी दुनिया को दिखाते फिरते हो तुम लोग। हाथ उठाया तो कमर दिखती है और बैठ गए तो पिछाड़ी दिखती है। सलवार सूट नहीं पहन सकती तुम लोग? हाँ? अभी बिहारी के गुंडे आकर उठा ले जाए और दुबई में जाकर बेच दे तो फिर रोती रहोगी तुम लोग? हाँ? फिर कभी नाइट क्लब में तुम्हें देखा ना तो गुटखा रगड़ के मुंह में रखूंगा और थूक दूंगा तुम्हारे मुंह पे।
Now where you can cut some slack to the creators is that the speech that Surya gives may be representative of his upbringing, as he may have seen only crime and misery around him all his life, but the problem comes with the reaction of the girl.
पूरी इज्जत ही निकाल दी। इज्जत तो निकाली, लेकिन सच बोल के गया।
This sets the precedent that moral policing dictated by a man is something that women should consider and abide by. Also, could someone tell me why the word figure and item are so common in Tamil vocabulary? So much so it's prevalent in various scripts all across the board. Is the connotation in the language different from what it represents, and why is it that it's become so common to say? Irrespective of the problematic back and forth in the sequence, you can still say that the man has a restrictive mindset due to his upbringing and didn't know any better. Right? This is where I come to the main point. Pushpa the Rise. One of the main arguments that people have in defense of the romantic storyline in Pushpa is his background. He is a man who has had a horrible childhood, lived in extreme poverty, remained fatherless, had to figure out a way to survive, and could only find himself to be lured with smuggling and crime to gain respect and notoriety. So the defense being, he didn't know any better on how to court Rashmika's character. He deemed it fit to stalk her, wishing that one day she will look at him. The friend goes out of his way to pay her friend group 1000 rupees who are desperate for cash and wanting to go for a Chiranjeevi movie. The barter is that she should smile at Pushpa. She obliges. He gets excited only for the friend's scheme to be exposed by Rashmika. Initially, Pushpa reprimands his friend, saying, "How can we stoop so low to pay a girl to smile at me?" But then tells him to offer her 5000 rupees in exchange for a kiss. The immediate response of the friend is that he did not expect Pushpa to be this sort of a guy, and Pushpa himself admits this to be out of his character because he is not like Jolly Reddy, the character who harasses and takes advantage of women in this universe. So he knows this is not the right thing to do, but does it anyway. Do you get the problem? I still can't believe that people are defending the romantic angle of this film. The problem is not the method utilized, but consciously knowing that it's wrong and doing it anyway. It isn't romantic and shouldn't be celebrated. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some video ideas for our channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.